What is up, guys? Me, Cordero, back in with another reaction video, and today I'm going to be doing a reaction on 9 shocking facts from the Quran. Now, this was recommended by one of you guys, and a lot of people commented on that recommendation about how interesting it was. So without any further delay, guys, let's get to it.
Ever since the dawn of mankind, we have sought to understand nature and our place
Hold on. Looks like we don't need subtitles on this.
in it. In this quest for the purpose of life, many people have turned to religion. Most religions are based on books claimed by their followers to be divinely inspired, without any proof. Islam is different because it is based upon reason and proof.
Fun fact before we get into this video, I did take a college course on world religions and I did learn a little bit of this stuff. So I do have some background knowledge, and I find learning about other different kinds of religions in the world very interesting, and how they're similar but not exactly the same, you know what I mean? So I'm very interested what he has to say in the video.
There are clear signs that the Book of Islam, the Quran, is the Word of God, and we have many reasons to support this claim. There are scientific and historical facts found in the Quran which were unknown to the people at the time and have only been discovered recently by contemporary science. The Quran is in a unique style of language that cannot be replicated. This is known as the inimitability of the Quran. There are prophecies made in the Quran and by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, which have come to pass. The following are some facts found in the Quran. Number 1. Origin of life. Water is essential for all living things. We all know that water is vital to life, but the Quran makes a very unusual claim. We made every living thing from water. Will they not believe?
It makes sense because the human
verse,
body's
water
really
is
majority of
pointed
water.
out as the origin of all life. All living things are made of cells. We now know that cells are mostly made up of water. For example, 80% of the cytoplasm, basic cell material, of a standard animal cell is described as water in biology textbooks. The fact that living things consist mostly of water was discovered only after the invention of the microscope. In the deserts of Arabia, the last thing someone would have guessed is that all life came from water.
Which makes sense if you put it that way.
Number 2,
it's not far-fetched.
Iron. Iron is not natural to the earth. It did not form on the earth but came down to earth from outer space. This may sound strange, but it's true. Scientists have found that billions of years ago, the earth was struck by meteorites. These meteorites were carrying iron from distant stars which had exploded. The Quran says the following on the origin of iron.
That's funny how I mentioned religion earlier, because a religion does play a big part into stuff like this, because there's always that battle between the Big Bang Theory and then a god creating Earth, you know what I'm saying? So it's like those two always went hand to hand because it was always an argument. So it's kind of cool saying that there's an old book that refers to a lot of scientific stuff that makes sense to like new scientific findings, like, you know, us being made from water, which, like I said, the majority of our body is made up of water. And that's what keeps us alive, along with other things. Like, let's say if you lose a lot of water in your body, you have a chance to be dehydrated and you can die from that. Which is why you should always have water in your system, you should always drink. Anyways, before I rant on.
We sent down iron with its great inherent strength and its many benefits for humankind. God uses the words sent down for iron. It is clear from the verse that iron is not an earthly material, but was sent down for the benefit of humanity. The fact that iron came down to earth from outer space is something which could not be known by the primitive science of the 7th century. Number 3, sky's protection.
Ooh, Let's see.
The sky plays a crucial role in protecting the Earth. The sky protects the Earth from the lethal rays of the sun. If the sky did not exist, then the sun's radiation would have killed off all life on Earth.
Which is true.
It also acts like a blanket wrapped around Earth to protect it from the freezing cold of space.
That's true, because in science class you learn about that. How the whole sky, basically, like all the layers in the sky,
if this temperature was to reach
like,
Earth,
UV
then the
radiation.
planet would freeze over instantly. The sky also protects life on Earth by warming the surface through heat retention,
Exactly.
greenhouse effect,
But not to the
and
point that we all
reducing
know.
temperature extremes between day and night. These are some of the many protective functions of the sky. The Quran asks us to consider the sky in the following verse. We made the sky a protective ceiling, and yet they are turning away from our signs.
It's pretty interesting how this book,
The
like,
Quran points to the
basically
sky's protection as a sign of God.
started scientific
The
research
protective
on Earth.
properties of the sky were discovered by scientific research conducted in the 20th century. Number 4. Mountains. The Quran draws our attention to a very important characteristic of mountains. Did we not make the earth as a resting place and the mountains as stakes? The Quran indicates that mountains have deep roots by using the word stakes to describe them. In fact, mountains do have deep roots, and the word stakes is an accurate description for them. A book titled Earth by geophysicist Frank Press explains that mountains are like stakes and are buried deep under the surface of the earth. Mount Everest, the height of which is approximately 9 kilometers above ground, has a root deeper than 125 kilometers. The fact that mountains have a deep stake, like roots, was not known until after the development of the theory of plate tectonics in the beginning of the 20th century.
Exactly.
Number 5.
It's crazy how
Expansion of the
accurate it
universe.
is.
At a time when the science of astronomy was still primitive, the expansion of the universe was described in the Quran. And it is we who have built the universe with our creative power and keep expanding it. The fact that the universe is expanding was discovered in the last century. The physicist Stephen Hawking, in his book A Brief History of Time, writes, the discovery that the universe is expanding was one of the great intellectual revolutions of the 20th century. The Quran mentioned the expansion of the universe even before the invention of the telescope. Number 6. Sun's
That's
orbit.
insane.
In 1512, the astronomer Nicholas Copernicus put forward his theory that the sun is motionless at the center of the solar system and that the planets revolve around it.
Exactly.
The belief that the sun is stationary was widespread amongst astronomers until the 20th century. It is now a well-established scientific fact that the sun is not stationary, but is moving in an orbit around the center of our Milky Way galaxy. The Quran mentions the orbit of the sun. It is He who created night and day, the sun and the moon, each floating in its orbit.
That's some insane. I really want to like.
The Quran would have been
look
wrong
up this
according
book
to
and read
astronomers just
everything
a
on it
couple
if
of
there's an
decades
English
ago.
translation.
But we now know that the Quranic account of the sun's motion is consistent with modern astronomy. Number 7. The ocean. The Quran uses imagery to convey its deep meanings. Here it describes the state of the unbelievers as darkness out in a deep ocean, which is covered by waves, above which are waves, above which are clouds, layers of darkness, one upon the other. When one puts out his hand therein, he can hardly see it. Those God gives no light to, they have no light. It is commonly thought that waves only occur on the surface of the ocean. However, oceanographers have discovered that there are internal waves that take place below the surface of the ocean.
Because you can feel the current.
These waves are invisible to the human eye and can only be detected by specialist equipment.
There's times you can
The
feel current,
Quran
but yeah,
mentions
it's true that
darkness in
waves
a
go
deep
pretty
ocean
deep.
above which are
Like,
waves.
I've seen it in books, like
above which are
diagrams and
waves,
stuff on it.
then clouds above that. This description is not only remarkable because it describes the internal waves in the ocean, but also because it describes darkness deep in the ocean. A human
in
being
that
can
darkness
dive
we
no
don't know
more
yet.
than 70 meters without breathing equipment. Light is present at that depth, but if we go down 1,000 meters, it is completely dark. 1,400 years ago, there were no submarines or specialist equipment to discover internal waves or the darkness deep inside the oceans.
There are some interesting creatures down there
Number 8.
that we know of.
Lying in movement. There was a cruel, oppressive tribal leader named Abu Jahl, who lived during the time of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. God revealed a verse of the Quran to warn him. No, indeed, if he does not stop, we will seize him by the forehead, his lying, sinful forehead. God does not call this person a liar, but calls his forehead, the front part of the brain, lying and sinful, and warns him to stop.
Now this is gonna be interesting. Watch.
This verse is significant for two reasons. The first is that the front part of our brain is responsible for voluntary movement.
Yeah.
This is known as the frontal lobe. A book titled Essentials of Anatomy and Physiology,
Which
which
is what I'm
includes
taking.
the results of research on the functions of this area, states the motivation and the foresight to plan and initiate movements occur in the anterior portion of the frontal lobes, the prefrontal area. The part of the brain that is responsible for movement is said to be seized if the man does not stop. Secondly, numerous studies have shown that this same region, frontal lobe, is responsible for the lying function of the brain. One such study at the University of Pennsylvania, in which volunteers were asked questions during a computerized interrogation, it was found that when the volunteers were lying, there was significantly increased activity in the prefrontal and premotor cortices frontal lobe region. The front part of the brain is responsible for movement and lying.
It's really
The
unique
Quran
learning about
links
the brain.
movement and lying to this area.
So complex.
These functions of the frontal lobe were discovered with medical imaging equipment, which was developed in the 20th century. Number 9. Pain receptors.
Ooh.
For a long time, it was thought that the sense of feeling and pain was dependent on the brain. However, it has been discovered that there are pain receptors present in the skin. Without these pain receptors, a person would not be able to feel pain.
No, you would literally touch an oven and burn your hand and not feel it if you don't have these in your skin. And there's a lot of issues with people having bad pain receptors in their hands and feet, and they're known to really burn themselves without realizing it because they don't realize that that's hot, because you lose the feeling of sense of heat in your fingers or wherever you have this issue in, and then you can get really bad blisters if you have that condition and you're not very careful. So yeah, this is very true. Like, there are pain receptors in your skin which allow you to have a sense of pain. So let's say you smash your finger. That's the only reason why you feel the pain is because those pain receptors were were hit, and they were able to send a signal all the way through your nervous system up to your brain to tell your brain, hey, you're feeling pain right now. But sometimes adrenaline kicks in and you don't feel it at the moment, which is a whole another discussion.
Consider the following verse on pain. We shall send those who reject our revelations to the hellfire. When their skins have been burned away, we shall replace them with new ones so that they may continue to feel the pain. God is almighty, all-wise. God tells the people who reject his message that when they are in hell and their skins are burnt off so they can't feel any pain, he will give them new skins so that they continue to feel the pain. The Quran makes it clear that pain is dependent upon the skin. The discovery of pain receptors in the skin is a fairly recent discovery for biology.
It's been mentioned. Yeah, I guess it's fairly...
These are just some of the many facts found in the Quran. It is important to know that the Quran is not a book of science, but that it is consistent with science. To claim that scientific facts in the Quran are due to coincidence would be irrational. The best explanation is that God revealed this knowledge to the Prophet Muhammad. Just like the Quran contains knowledge about the natural world, it also contains information about the inner dimensions of our souls. It relates to our feelings, wants, and needs. the Quran informs us that we have a purpose in life and that following God's guidance will lead us to inner peace in this life and paradise in the hereafter, and that rejection of His message will lead to depression in this life and hellfire after death. We shall show them our signs in the universe and within themselves until it becomes clear to them that this is the truth. Is it not enough that your Lord is the witness of all things?
That's some mind-blowing things, how this book goes hand in hand with science. Because in a way, this is a religious book. Like knowledge was passed on to a prophet who wrote it down in a book about the earth and how the earth works and how our universe works. And it's just crazy how what they're saying is this book came first before there was scientific findings that we all know about now, that we all learn in class, and etc. But it's insane. It's just so cool and then mind blowing to see that this book came out first, and all of a sudden people researched about what's in this book. I'm assuming that those guys who did the research had a what's it called? They were influenced by the book, and then they found out it was true, like the whole waves thing, the whole sun and the moon orbit, the whole like where light comes from in your part of the brain, the pain receptors in your skin, and just like even though the book has a deeper meaning, says deeper meaning about it, it's just cool that there's scientific proof that backs up whatever that book is saying, and it's just insane. That is something cool. I didn't know this was a thing until now, because like I said, you guys pointed it out. You sent a link and everybody's seen that link that one of you guys posted, and so it was really mind-blowing and interesting. So I just, this is the type of stuff I like too. I in college, if you guys don't know, I'm going for radiology, so there's a lot of science in my field. So I take a lot of science classes, and it's cool to learn scientific stuff, because like a lot of stuff they talk about is like I have some background knowledge of it. Even though I'm going into medical field, I did take some classes that had to do with the earth, you know, rocks, you know, geology, just everything about that. And it was awesome to see. It was really interesting to learn stuff like that, and I don't know, there's a lot to think about, like how there's a lot to think about, because like a lot of people argue that they follow more the religious beliefs than scientific, because like there's Christianity, people believe God created everything and stuff, but they don't believe that the Big Bang was what created Earth. But then there's this book that goes hand in hand. It's like God created, like this God created what's it called? This Big Bang, Earth was made, blah blah blah, and there's a whole source. You know, it's basically linking science and religion together and making it one thing. So it's like it kind of ends the argument which one is more true, because it's literally both of them according to this book. Those are my takes on it. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I would have to watch it more, kind of like grasp more knowledge on it, because it's a pretty interesting video. I probably am gonna watch it again after I'm done recording this, because it's some interesting points that they pointed out in this book before scientists decide to have studies on it. You know, it makes you wonder, it makes you think. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did. Like, I love science. I know this is a music channel and we react to music, but it was pretty interesting to go off track a little bit and look at some scientific stuff, and then like kind of like have something to make you think, you know. And then I think this is an interesting video to make for you guys. I'm sure you guys like watching videos that kind of blow your mind and make you think a little bit. But anyway, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video as much as I did, drop a like down below and comment down if you want to see more videos like this. And if you do have a request on videos related to this kind of stuff, feel free to comment down below. Or if you have any other requests, comment down below also. Like I said, I react to anything. Like, this is some interesting stuff, so I would love to see some more like mind-blowing videos that you guys want me to react to. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe to the Best Family on YouTube if you enjoy some interesting reactions. Like I'm telling you, this one was very interesting. just hit that subscribe button. This is the channel for you. Like I'm telling you, it's just amazing content from here on out. I won't let you guys down. I do post 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so be ready for that. So turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss an upload, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.